today as an issue?
Not at the lunch, but I know it was referred to in the G8 itself. Clearly, I was able to give the lunch meeting a rundown on the progress made during Ireland's presidency dealing with tax evasion and fraud, which I think was very well commended and very well accepted and is a model for what lots of others can do. I say in general, I think this has been a great success, and actually the points raised at the working lunch that I attended, which was an opportunity to engage with world leaders here, was genuinely very much focused on what it is that politics can do in the context of tax evasion, of tax fraud, of transparency, and of the situation that has gone on in Africa in particular for so long, where, for instance, all the legal advice in the world would be made available in the drawing up of contracts and nothing further from that. There were a number of very valid suggestions made from the G8 about this, and in fact the 10-point plan produced by the G8 dealing with transparency, dealing with tax, dealing with fraud and dealing with trade is something that Ireland can sign up to. The European Council at its last meeting concluded that no country on its own can deal with these issues unilaterally, and that therefore there is a need for an international movement and collaboration among the countries to actually deal with this. I have to say as well that there was a strong commendation of the conclusion and approval for the mandate for negotiations between Europe and the US, which happened during Ireland's presidency last week. I think that's been recognised as being potentially of immense benefit on both sides of the Atlantic, and I think there was very strong recognition of the follow-through being so swift here, in that the negotiations will start formally in Washington next month.
Taoiseach, does the 10-point plan mean that you will have to change Irish tax law?
No, I was able to account for Ireland's tax position to the leaders, but I strongly welcomed the 10-point plan. And while we're not a member of the G8, this is part of the principle that Ireland have been aggressively pursuing during our presidency of the Council in regard to tax evasion, tax fraud and tax transparency. And as I reminded the meeting, we were the 4th country to sign up to the FATCA agreement. We have been very strongly in favour of the OECD promotion of this, and the BEPS, base erosion and profit shifting, will go before the G20 in the next couple of weeks.
But the plan says that countries will change the rules that facilitate the shifting of profit over borders in order to minimise tax.
Yes, but countries can only do this in unison, and Ireland is very much in favour of having the international tax code, the international tax movement dealing with this. We want to be part of that.
When you say you accounted for Ireland's tax, did a specific leader ask you a specific question?
No, but I was aware that the matter had been referred to in the context of Ireland's corporation tax rate, which quite a number of leaders were very clear to say that just because a tax rate is pitched at a particular level doesn't mean anything other than that. And I was able to remind the meeting, of course, that our corporate tax rate is statute-based and is absolutely clear.
Taoiseach, does Ireland's relationship with multinationals, and I'm not talking about corporation rate, but does Ireland's relationship with multinationals not go against the spirit of this tax fiscal pact? Do you disagree?
No, it does not. Ireland set out as a country many years ago to be an attractive location for investment from a foreign direct investment point of view, and that's been very successful with over 1,000 multinationals in Ireland. We can only tax companies in the country and the profits they generate in the country. It is because of the international jurisdictions in which multinationals operate that the end result is often acquainted with the country of origin, when in fact that's not true. For instance, companies that have been mentioned in the past have very substantial numbers employed in Ireland. So the point is that the European Council itself recognises that you cannot do this unilaterally. It requires collaboration and cooperation from the countries in general.
Particularly the Americans.
Yes, and that's why the G8 published their 10-point plan, the Lough-Erne recommendations, and while we're not a member of the G8, we have no problem in signing up for that.
When you say that